The story begins in a small town called Hoyer, Minnesota. A man named John Gray, who works fixing cars, is called to the police station. There, he hears something shocking. His 17-year-old daughter, Angela, has said that he hurt her in a very bad way. Angela has left home and is now living in a church with help from a kind priest named Reverend Beaumont. A police detective named Bruce Kenner starts looking into the case. He talks to John, who says he doesn't remember doing anything wrong. Still, John says he believes Angela because he trusts her more than his own memory. Bruce isn't sure if John is telling the truth or pretending to forget. Bruce visits John's house with another officer named George Nesbitt. They meet Angela's grandmother, Rose Gray. She is very sad and upset. She says John was very angry when he first heard what Angela said. Bruce also learns about Angela's older brother, Roy, who left the family 2 years ago and never came back. Rose had asked John about it, but he didn't give a clear answer. Officer Nesbitt, who knows the family well, thinks that Angela might be making up the story because her home life was very hard. Her dad drinks too much, her mom died, and her brother doesn't talk to them anymore. To understand things better, a doctor named Kenneth Raines, who studies the mind, is called in. He speaks to John and says that maybe John really doesn't remember the bad thing because his brain is hiding it. The doctor decides to use a special kind of hypnosis to try and bring back lost memories. During the hypnosis, John sees scary images. He sees someone hurting Angela in her room and taking photos. When he looks closer, he realizes the person is Officer Nesbitt. Bruce is shocked and quickly arrests Nesbitt. Later, Bruce and the doctor go to the church to hear Angela's full story. She is very scared but says that Nesbitt was one of the people who hurt her. She also says something very scary happened. They carved a strange symbol on her during a dark ceremony meant to bring evil. Soon, more people in the town come forward. They say they also were hurt in similar dark ceremonies. They say they were marked, threatened, and treated badly. This news spreads everywhere, and people begin to panic. That night, Bruce has a terrible dream. At the same time, John has a panic attack in jail. He suddenly remembers seeing a black cat and people in dark clothes. This makes Bruce think Angela might be telling the truth. Bruce and the doctor find Roy, who is now living alone in an old house in Pittsburgh. They visit him and put him under hypnosis too. Roy remembers being hurt years ago by people wearing scary makeup and cloaks. Bruce starts to think this may be part of something much bigger than just one family. Bruce begins to wonder if even Angela's grandmother, Mrs. Gray, is involved. He orders the police to search the Gray family's house. Mrs. Gray becomes very angry and even hits Bruce for accusing her. Meanwhile, the FBI shares new information. They say that strange satanic things are happening in many places nearby. Back at the police station, Officer Nesbitt passes lie detector tests. Since there is no solid proof, the police plan to let him go. Bruce is still unsure, so he visits Angela, who is now in the hospital. Angela is very scared and doesn't want to show the mark on her body. She thinks the bad people will come back if she does. But Bruce gently convinces her, and she finally agrees. Later, Bruce listens to a recording of Angela's voice while checking John's workshop. Angela says something very disturbing. She remembers her grandmother taking her to the workshop one night while dressed in black. Inside, there were people in cloaks doing scary things, hurting others, burning bodies, and saying strange words. One old woman kept telling her it was all just a dream. Angela says her father led the ceremony like it was a special event for him. Bruce is very upset by what he hears. He quickly leaves the workshop and tells his team to keep digging and searching for evidence. The next day, Angela comes to Bruce's office. She's scared and says someone is watching her, just like what happened to her mom before she died in a strange car crash. Angela says she's been getting weird phone calls at midnight where no one speaks. She feels like they're not just threats, they might be signs of something even more dangerous. Angela continues to feel watched. She sees people in crowds staring at her, but never coming close. This makes her feel like she's being hunted. Bruce, worried and curious, decides to go to the place where Angela's mom was last seen before she died. While walking through the streets, Bruce starts to notice something strange. People are staring at him in a way that makes him feel very uncomfortable. That night, Bruce has a terrible nightmare. In his dream, he is sleeping when a group of people dressed in black suddenly attack him. They tie him up and give him something to make him sleep deeper. A girl wearing a red hood appears and hurts him while others take scary photos. Suddenly, the girl's face changes into an old, creepy woman. Bruce wakes up, scared and sweaty, glad it was only a dream, but the fear stays with him because it felt so real. The next day, Bruce talks to John again, but nothing new comes out of it. John seems lost in strange thoughts, drawing odd symbols and praying. He won't answer questions or say any names. Bruce feels angry and frustrated because it seems like the case isn't moving forward at all. Dr. Rain sees that Bruce is stressed and tired. He gently tells Bruce that maybe he's pushing himself too hard. But Bruce pretends he's fine and doesn't want to admit how difficult this case has become. Later that evening, Bruce, Dr. Rains, and Reverend Beaumont go to a meeting between Angela and her grandmother, Rose. Rose strongly says she had nothing to do with any of the strange or evil things. But when Angela blames her for hiding the truth, just like her father, Rose becomes very angry. The talk becomes tense and uncomfortable. Bruce watches it all, feeling like nothing is getting better and no one is telling the full truth. Later on, Bruce opens up to Dr. Rains about how hard and confusing everything has become. For the first time, Bruce starts to think that maybe something supernatural or evil really is going on. Reverend Beaumont tries to comfort Rose after the meeting, saying that maybe dark forces made her do things she didn't understand. That night, Bruce is watching a TV show about Satanism when the phone rings. Thinking it's someone from work, he picks it up, but there is silence, and the caller hangs up. At the same time, Rose is at home alone. She hears her cat crying from inside John's workshop, but her real cat is sitting right next to her. Curious and a bit scared, she follows the sound to the workshop. Inside, she sees a girl named Lucy standing in the shadows. Then a strange black cat with glowing red eyes appears. Terrified, Rose runs back to her house. But once inside, she sees horrible things, scary voices coming from the TV, the sound of crying babies, and blood coming out from under the doors. In a panic, she jumps out a window and ends up in the hospital. Afterward, Bruce visits Angela again at the church. They walk quietly through a graveyard, and Bruce talks about what happened to Rose and how they are still waiting to hear Angela's full story. Angela says she still loves her family, even with everything that has happened. As they sit on a bench, Angela rests her head on Bruce's shoulder. It feels like they share a bond, like a father and daughter. But then things get strange when Angela suddenly tries to get too close to Bruce. He pulls away, embarrassed, especially because he sees Reverend Beaumont watching from a distance. Later, Roy visits Rose in the hospital. He's surprised to see her acting differently. She says sorry for how she treated him and claims that the cult wanted to stop her from talking. Roy doesn't believe her. He thinks she's just confused or going crazy. Angry and upset, he warns Bruce, Dr. Rains, and Reverend Beaumont to stay away from her. In return, the Reverend accuses Roy of protecting Rose and maybe even being part of the cult. He gives Bruce a cross and warns him to be careful, saying that not everything is what it seems. On his way home, Bruce feels like someone is following him. When he gets inside, the phone rings again. No one speaks. He doesn't know it, but Angela is the one making these silent calls. Later that night, Bruce falls asleep in his chair and has another terrible nightmare. In it, he is kidnapped by cult members. Nesbitt drags him into the workshop and forces him to join scary rituals. An old woman offers him a bowl of blood, saying it's only a dream. Bruce refuses and wakes up quickly, frightened, with his gun in his hand. The next day, while driving to work, Bruce feels like everyone is watching him. The fear in his mind is growing so much that he almost crashes the car. When he arrives at the police station, he sees Nesbitt being released. This makes him furious. He tries to arrest Nesbitt again, but the other officers stop him. They explain that there is still no real proof against Nesbitt, and some think Angela may have made the mark on her body herself because of emotional pain. Dr. Rains gives Bruce a pill to help him calm down, and the police chief tells him to take a break from work. Bruce agrees, but secretly spits the pill out. While driving around, he listens again to his old recordings of John, hoping to find something important that he missed earlier. During another talk, John shares a deep secret. He says Roy is gay and admits that when he was first blamed, he thought Roy caused all the trouble and shame in their family. He thought Roy's presence somehow brought it all on. That evening, Bruce goes to a bar. On the TV, he sees a woman from one of his nightmares. Only now, she is in a commercial. Bruce starts to understand that some of the scary things he saw in his dreams might have come from normal things in real life. This leads him to talk to Dr. Rains again. Bruce says that the hypnosis might not have helped, but instead created fake memories. He thinks the therapy made people believe in things that didn't really happen. Dr. Rains doesn't agree, but Bruce is now full of doubt. That night, Bruce's worst fear comes true. Farrell and Nesbitt show up at his home, not as cult members, but as angry policemen. They feel Bruce ruined their reputations and careers. They beat him up badly. Later, Bruce visits Angela one last time. He lies and says that Nesbitt admitted to something terrible. Angela agrees with the lie, which proves to Bruce that she's been making it all up. He tells her that she created the whole story to escape her broken home and to punish Nesbitt when he rejected her. Angela finally admits that she lied, but she warns Bruce that no one will believe him now, especially after what happened between them in the graveyard. Bruce leaves, deeply disappointed. After this, Angela and the Reverend keep appearing on TV, saying they were victims of dark satanic abuse. But now, the police department starts to feel embarrassed. They realize they may have been tricked and begin to question everything they believed before. At the end, Bruce visits John in prison and tells him the truth. John is confused and broken. He doesn't know what's real anymore. Still, he says he will plead guilty because he feels like he failed as a father and doesn't deserve forgiveness. Bruce doesn't agree with his decision, but he respects it. He leaves the prison, heavy-hearted and sad. The story ends by talking about how, during the 1980s and 1990s, many stories like this happened. People were scared and believed in dark rituals, and many cases like Angela's came to light. But later, it was found that these things were not real, and methods like hypnosis often created fake memories instead of truth.
Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel. Thanks for watching.